I bet.
Yeah, it does.
All right, are you ready to start?
I am. Let's do this.
Awesome. All right, let's see. All right. I am gonna see if this thing is working. Like, I want to just start
Right.
streaming. I want to see. I want to start streaming with it. Yeah, okay. It says it's okay. It says we're good. So,
Awesome.
welcome back to the next episode of the podcast. We are back with Coach E because he's a coach, so he can give us all the insights on coaching. So, welcome. Big news. A lot of things happened. So, yeah, the season's pushed back. That's something we haven't seen yet. So, Coach, you want to fill us in on what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah. So I'm sure someone either is eager to hear or has already heard that the football season for high school has been pushed over to till January of 2021. So we will not have competition like you would in the traditional football seasons starting August. Our first practice is going to start on December 13th. So it's going to be a little bit different for us because of this whole pandemic going on. And first things first is we have to keep the kids safe, and that's the number one thing on everybody's list right now is how do we keep these young men safe while they're practicing in football. As we know, everybody knows, football is a contact sport.
Right.
So I think what happened is that CIF reviewed everything, and they thought to themselves, and that they went to medical experts. I think they, made a good decision based on what they have, the information they had. So we will not have our first contact till January.
That's crazy.
Kind of bummer, but hey, that's what we got to do. Yeah, to keep the kids safe. Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
a lot of
That's
things
pretty
have
wild,
changed.
right?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty wild. It's crazy, to think about it. You know. I mean, we all thought, we're gonna have a season, so like we still are, but it's just gonna be started like later than we all thought.
Right now we should be watching film. Not on the next opponent, but ourselves as from practice. You know, teaching kids, fundamentals, getting ready for our first contact in August, which August would be, 2 weeks from now or so. So
Indeed.
there's definitely a learning curve for.
Right, right. So, with all, everything going on, do you think, like, when the 2020 season comes, do you think that there's going to be a lot of changes, basically for locker rooms or, from roster sizes, to sitting on a bus?
Wow. See, that's a very good question because how do you social distance in football?
Right,
You really can't
right.
because, or in basketball, you really can't.
No.
And baseball is probably the only one that you can actually say, okay, you can social distance on the baseball field because there's only so many players, opposite players at bat. Defensive players on baseball, they're scattered everywhere.
Right.
But in basketball, in football, you're so compact, if you will. You're consistently making contact with someone.
Yeah.
So how do you social distance on the court or the football field? How do you social distance, even for baseball in the locker room?
Yeah.
And traveling, you're right. I mean, you bring an absolute point. We don't know how we're gonna do things. We don't even know how we're gonna do it in football practice. To be honest, because those things have not been outlined to us. The only thing that we have right now is this is when your season is going to start,
Hmm.
and this is when your first practice is going to start. So they really haven't told us
Right.
um, how to go about practice and whatnot. So that's you bring an interesting point that I don't think many coaches know.
Many coaches.
And be truly honest with you, we don't even know how to. I mean, because we don't know that what the state has agreed to when it comes to practice sizes, when it comes to locker room, and when it comes to travel.
Right.
That's that. All that has to be through medical research.
That's true. Definitely true.
That's an interesting point.
Um, have you
Yeah.
gotten into contact at all with Coach Hendricks about it? Like, has he contacted
So
his coaching staff?
yeah, so Coach Hendricks, Coach Hendricks is being put in the loop by the AD. So whenever Coach Hendricks Riverside Prep finds out something, he's really good about distributing to the rest of his coaching staff. So when he got notification that our first game, or excuse me, our first practice is going to start in December, we have a group chat or a group text messaging that we actually keep in contact with, and he notified everybody, "Hey, good news! Our first practice is December, and what we're going to try to do as a coaching staff without the kids, just the coaching staff, is try to get together in November just to figure out, what we were going to do or how to things, how to plan things out." But yes, to answer your question, the minute Coach Hendricks finds out information, he distributes it to the rest of the coaching staff, and we've been trying to get together and and talk things out. But to be truly honest with you, if there's no news, there's really nothing to talk about. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
When to start. I mean, we can talk philosophies all we can or all we want, but that's just among coaching staff. Eventually, I mean, that's going to have to be distributed to our football players, and that's kind of what the point that we're at now.
Right. Exactly. Um, so like again, when we do start, how you said that there's no social distancing and stuff like that in football or basketball. Do you think that CIF is working on something? Maybe it's for like the helmets, maybe it's for like uniform, or maybe it's for contact, like new contact rules. Do you think that whatever they do right now is going to determine how the future football is going to go from like 2022 to for the next 10 years?
Wow, yeah, you know what? Listen to Dr. Fauci speak a couple of times, or recently, he's saying that COVID-19 may not go away. COVID-19 might be around like the common cold is.
Yeah.
And what's frightening is that we don't have a vaccine for the common cold. I mean, as you know, I mean, there's a vaccine. There's a vaccine for influenza. You get a flu shot. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the common cold, from my understanding, there is no vaccine for it. So right now, the government, we can only hope and pray that the government gives us a vaccine for COVID-19. And that's kind of, I think, what CIF is waiting for. But to be truly honest with you is, when a football player wears a visor, it fogs up. Some kids can't breathe with the visor on.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that they're going to do anything else with the football helmet. But then again, I mean, that's something that CIF is going to have to get work out and let us know about. But I would hope it would not,
Hmm.
because you need to take a beer on. If you take is not do sport, I mean, you're gonna be full,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to wait at CIF on how they're going to rule to keep our kids safe, and that's kind of what we have to go for. I mean, go by and abide by.
Right. Because CIF, I mean,
That's kind of where we're at right now.
I mean, CIF is really good at this stuff. I mean, I'm glad that they, I mean, I know a lot of, athletes are not happy with that, the season starting late. But I mean, I get it. We're in the middle of this pandemic. What's going on outside? You know. If we started the season, probably, we could have had more, teen COVID cases go up. Because I mean, to be honest, I mean, there's quite a few teens that have it already. They're battling for their lives, and CIF does not want that. They don't want to be responsible for like something like that to happen when the school starts again, and obviously it's
Yeah,
obviously it's something that
you know
it's
what?
out of our picture.
In August,
Hmm.
I believe that exactly what we don't do is for the kids this for nothing and the Westbrook, um, but like we had we know who uh and yeah, so we don't want to have and if a kid has asthma
Hmm.
playing football, then that's the kid who's at most of risk because
Yeah,
he already has respiratory problems.
yeah,
And COVID-19 is a big killer when it comes to respiratory.
yeah.
So yeah, so I, I mean, we're football starts in August because that's the way it's been like years. And all of us here, it starts in January. You can definitely see the disappointment in kids.
Indeed. Hmm. Yep.
What we all we do as a coach is our most thing we have in life right now is the kids' lives, and we don't want to put them in danger in any way, shape, or form.
Right. It's really important.
That's what it goes back down to.
It's really important. That's like you said. It's just really important because with kids with asthma, like you said, respiratory problems, and that can just be, that can put their lives in danger, like even more so. I know that a lot of healthy, athletes out there, they're like, hey, you know, what's the big idea here? And then they have teammates and stuff like that that does have asthma. So when it comes to COVID-19, it really does.
He catches COVID. I mean, we could have prevented that by
Right. True that. Right. Technical difficulties here, folks. Give us a second. We're having a technical difficulties. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay.
I'm going through a real bad area here.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Don't worry.
Okay, awesome. So I lost you at a young man having asthma or respiratory issues.
Yeah.
So I mean, to touch on that is, I mean, we don't want to put a kid with that condition already, where he's able to control it,
Right.
to where he contracts COVID-19 and now he can't control anything.
Right.
That's what we don't want to do. We're not medical experts on site,
Right.
so it's got to be a situation to where we have to take care of the student athlete, because think about it, we are trained in CPR.
Right.
Is it gonna change CPR, how we do CPR? I think it may.
I
I
believe so
I
too.
think it may.
I believe
You know
so
what I
too.
mean?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. It's I mean, you gotta, first and foremost, we gotta think of the student athlete. Uh, we gotta now be more diligent, or in studying their file when it comes to any medical issues they have.
Right.
We have to be talking to the AD, to the trainers consistently, with the parents.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think that this pandemic has made us all aware that we're not, that we're still human. In other words,
Right.
we can't just go out there and do things how we want to, like we usually do. I mean, we have to make sure that we listen to our medical experts, and we have to make sure we abide by the rules. That way, we don't put anybody else at risk. Because if we're not just putting that one kid at risk,
No.
we're putting his entire family at home at risk, and that's one thing we don't want to have.
Right. Agreed.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does make sense. Totally. You know. And when you put more people, in that risk, in that danger risk, then a lot of people get angry. Even because people are like, hey, we see the statistics now. We see the fatalities of it. So when people find out, when people like that are in that, fatality risk, people are gonna get mad, and then they're gonna be like, hey, CIF, why didn't you do this so and so? And then CIF is like, because our children wanted to play football or basketball or whatever sport they wanted to play in. They wanted to
Hmm.
do that, and then the parents are like, you could have done something.
Right.
But that's what CIF is doing right now. They're making sure that argument doesn't get in question, because if that happens, then there may not maybe be a 2021 season at all.
Right. I mean, think about it. I'm sure, and I'm positive that CIF did everything in their power to talk to medical experts, get information from them. What were the risks to have the football season in August with no vaccine? And I'm sure they discussed that, and I'm sure that they probably had a bunch of parent concerns. Some were probably saying, let's go ahead and have the season. Some said absolutely not.
Hmm.
But I mean, think about the pressure that CIF was in to make this decision. Because I can tell you right now that CIF right now is not very popular already, and especially making this decision, they either may gain some fans or they probably lost fans. Being in support, in other words, because there are people out there, Miguel, that don't really think that COVID-19 is such a big deal,
Right.
and there's other people saying that, what, there are people saying that, I think it's a huge deal. So how do you please both sides? You really can't.
Right.
So we have to make sure to say, look, adults right now, you really don't matter. The only person that matters right now is the young student athletes, and that's what CIF, I think, is concerned about and made a decision based on, is how can we protect the student athletes that they actually look after.
Right.
and
Exactly.
and if a parent can't make that decision, then CIF has made it.
Yep. CIF did it. I
Yep.
mean, like we don't want CIF to be like, hey, you know what? let's just go ahead and have a season anyway, because that's gonna really make the a lot more people upset than there already is. I mean, I understand it. There's a lot of people upset, but CIF does not want more enemies than they do supporters. Because
Right, right,
CIF is like the sports right now, and that's it. Like what other sports
right.
providers are there? We don't want to join a Hawaiian league. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not in Hawaii, or we don't want to go to you know a Georgia section where we gotta go
Right.
play
No,
in.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Each state is governed by their own. I suppose you would say CIF, right? Or
Yeah,
California. In California, Georgia has their own, CIF, if you will.
yeah,
So that's something that they control. But I mean, if you think about it, each year CIF doesn't have fans because of the kids moving, transferring, and so on and so forth.
yeah,
But that's compared to this pandemic, that's a small issue.
yeah,
That's something that it's easily handled by parents and CIF. This here it's bigger than CIF. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than anything that we now because that's truly what it is. Look at the student athletes in college. I mean, right now you've got the NCAA contemplating should we even have non-conference games? How many conference games should we have? Should we only play conference games? Look at
yeah,
the professional football league. We haven't heard anything from them what they're saying.
right,
So I think it's bigger than CIF. So I don't think right now that CIF actually cares, to be truly honest with you, on what people's sentiment is. I think that the biggest factor right now is keeping a young student athlete safe, so that we can actually see them continue with their career, whether it be either educationally or as a student athlete. But
right,
the biggest concern right now CIF had, and the decision they had to make was, can we play football in August? And obviously, that was a big no.
yeah,
It's been pushed over to January, which I mean, not many people are happy about. But hey, once again, I don't have a PhD, so
right, right,
I'll let the medical experts figure it out, right?
right. Exactly. That's what you can do.
Right,
And
right.
and so for big schools, okay, well, let's get to the fan standpoint. So for like big schools, how Texas high schools have fans like that, and how Apple Valley and them have big old fans. They all come out and
Yeah.
support their team. How do you think fan experience is gonna change with this whole thing going on? Do you think that they're gonna do the same thing, no fans like some sports, or they're gonna have
You
limited
know,
fans?
you know what? I would hate to see that happen, and let me tell you why. Because for a lot of these fans are brothers, are sisters, are best friends, are girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
Um, Communities like Apple Valley, that's a giant football community. So what happens is, on a Friday night, for Apple Valley fans, for Sun Devil fans, we're talking about, that's the place to be.
Yeah,
To watch the Apple Valley game. What's going to happen when they play the Bell game?
yeah,
Not to have fans at the Bell game, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be unheard of. I mean, I don't, how should I put it? I want to have fans in the football
yeah,
stands, because what that does is that keeps the tradition there for the fans, for the bands. Think about it this way: the bands. I mean, are we gonna have a band there?
yeah,
Are we still gonna have a lot of things that we had, that we were used to and we were spoiled to on a Friday night game? Even in college. I mean, the biggest argument that I will give people who are NFL fans. I'm a huge college football fan, and I tell people all the time, the difference for me is the traditions of college football opposed to NFL.
yeah,
College football, you have the fans, you have the bands, you have the marching bands, you have all these things that come into effect that bring college football to life. and to me are more a joy to watch than the NFL. So if we were to have social distancing in the stands, that's gonna take half the fans away,
It
and that's
does.
gonna make it seem like it's empty stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So,
But once again, we come back to the whole situation is healthcare is the biggest thing we're concerned about right now,
right,
and we have to let the medical experts kind of sort that out.
right. It's, and like you say, for Bell, like the Bell game for Apple Valley, I mean that's huge. Plus, I think this year it's gonna be at Apple's home this year. So for not having any fans, that's just gonna be
Yeah,
like, wow, it's gonna be, not only the quietest game in the whole entire world, but it's gonna be one of those games where like like athletes are gonna. I mean,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. I don't want to say anything bad, but this might be the day that, that might be the day where, because like we said before, Apple feeds on the energy of the fans, right?
right.
So if there's no fans there, then Victor's gonna be like, hey, we have a bigger advantage this time. Since there's no fans, we can probably bring it harder. I mean, and that's good for like Victor, but at the same time, how is Apple gonna handle that situation? Since they feed off the fans,
Right. So you won't have the quote home field advantage. Right? Kind of what you're saying right now is going to be like a neutral game feel, but the reality is you can't. I mean, I would love to see fans there.
Yeah,
I would love to, because the Bell game, it it's a huge game. It attracts alumni from every year to go watch the game in the football field and the stands. So I don't coach at Apple Valley, but I can tell you right now that the atmosphere when that game happens is huge.
yeah,
It really is. So to lose the atmosphere is going to be a bummer for a lot of these student athletes that think about it when a freshman play freshman football and now he's a sophomore and can't play varsity football, he won't get to experience that. He won't get to experience on the field feel for the game for the Bell game. I mean, so if we talk about fans, I mean it's huge for a lot of teams. I mean, it's just it impacts the boosters. It impacts the football booster, like when they get to sell snack bars, that goes to the football program, or just for the programs in general. So they're gonna lose revenue also if you look at it that way. But it it brings us full circle again to the whole thing of is CIF gonna allow it because of the social distancing guidelines? And to be truly honest with you, we may have a vaccine by December. I mean, wishful thinking, but what happens if we do have a vaccine by December? Are they gonna allow us to go back to normal life?
right. Because obviously that's
That's gonna
gonna
be the
take some
question, you
time.
know.
Yeah, because obviously that's gonna take some time. I mean, if we do, because we got to distribute the vaccine all over the place, and then people are gonna want to get at it right away, and
Right.
and then like you said, what's gonna happen next? We're just gonna not wear
Yeah.
masks no more, and that's it. Like that, like it's done.
Well, you know what? I mean, I can't imagine football not wearing a mask because if you look at hockey, well, then again, that's a hockey puck though playing with it. But let's just stick to football.
Right.
Football is a contact sport, so the face mask is there for a protective measure to keep the kids safe.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine us. Let me try to get the sun out your way here. I can't imagine us not having a face mask. And if they do have a face mask, are they going to have a face shield? And if they have a face shield, how is that going to change the athlete from breathing,
Hmm.
from the shield fogging up? Because the visor already fogs up right now
Yeah.
for some athletes. Some athletes, they feel like they can't breathe
Right.
with it on. So that's what they have no. So I it's gonna be interesting to see, to be truly honest with you. And right now, I think they're still talking about it. I think they're still discussing it, and we won't hear anything about it till December. To be truly honest with you.
Right. I don't. I agree. I don't think we're gonna be hearing anything about it. It's like gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. I mean, like you said, because the NFL is already talking about changing how the face shields and masks go. They're thinking about making an alternative mask where the whole face is covered. And to go
Yeah.
back to go back to that question, like, hey, how's that gonna change the game? There's gonna be like, hey, it's gonna be hard to breathe now, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of
Right.
athletes gonna be like, hey, you're gonna make these masks, so how are we gonna breathe? Like, I mean, obviously, you need to breathe.
Right.
You need to breathe to play football, because I mean, if you're playing football and you can't breathe, then
Well,
that's a
you
big
do.
problem.
You're absolutely right. Now, let's go back to the player that has asthma,
Hmm.
who's able to control it with an inhaler, or who's able to control it, right?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen with that player when they have to wear a gigantic face shield underneath the face mask?
Right.
That's gonna be a some getting used to it, if you will.
Exactly.
That's gonna be kind of tough.
Yeah, because you
It's gonna be
can't.
kind of tough.
Yeah, because you don't want to tell an athlete, hey, you can't play football because you have asthma or any other respiratory problems.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that's not gonna work for him. He's gonna be like, this is totally
No.
unfair. I have a dream to play football. I've been working all from day one to get here. Obviously you're gonna get a lot of backlash from like those players who have asthma or respiratory problems.
Well, see, now my question is are basketball players gonna wear some type of protective shield because they're on the basketball court and they're also sweating.
Yeah.
They're sweating and they're making contact without any equipment. It's just a jersey and skin.
Yeah.
So what are they gonna do then? So we kind of have to wait to CIF what they say, what they do, based on what the medical experts say. But right now, I mean, I couldn't even tell you what they're gonna do or what they're gonna rule on. That's a good question, and that's something I'm eager to see also.
Yeah, because the NBA already started, and when I was watching it, they're still doing that regular contact thing, and I'm like, wait a minute,
Right.
We're doing
Right.
a pandemic, so how are you playing basketball? Because at first I thought, hey, okay, we're gonna probably just wear masks and stuff like that, but they're not even doing that. They're over there, getting in contact with each other, and it's like, whoa, hold on there, like,
Right. Right.
what's going on there? LeBron James exposed like this. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but like, come on now. Like, I wouldn't want to play like that. I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna contact, no, I'm not playing because number one, I don't want to. I'm not saying that anyone's gonna get sick, but I don't want to get sick. And number two, it's just unsafe because I like to stay as much protected as I can be.
Right. And you know what? What the NBA is doing is they're consistently testing athletes. I think before the game, during halftime, and after the game. I'm sure that they're doing everything possible to monitor the players' symptoms of everyone there. And I think that's maybe what CIF may be doing, ruling towards. We're going to make sure that we're testing all the student athletes, before, during, and after. That's maybe a possibility they're going to do for football. To test kids or monitor kids before the game, or first and foremost at school, before they board the bus, once they get off the bus, before they hit the football field, during halftime, and after the football game, before they hit, into the bus. So that's a lot of testing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of testing of, temperature measurement or so on. That's something CIF is gonna have to work out, and I'm sure that they're gonna probably take a few pointers from the pros.
Yeah. And dude, here's the most creepy thing I like. No, I didn't find out, but I have a theory. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not good with theory, but this might be the most
Okay.
scariest theory yet. Coaches and players, even for high school, they might have to get implemented with a chip to monitor their health. You know?
Oh, see now um you're going into a situation where parents,
Hmm.
some parents are saying no, absolutely not,
Yeah.
and some parents may say yes, for whatever reasons. But you're going into a situation where some households may not agree with it, and others will.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a topic that's gonna have to be discussed at that point. I don't think it's gonna come to that, and I hope it doesn't come to that. But I mean, you never know. You never know. But I wouldn't be one fan of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
To be
Me
truly
neither.
honest with you, me, I mean, I'm a person of faith. I'm a person that believes in God. I'm a person that believes in the United States amendments. So it's the situation to where it's okay. We're gonna chip people. We're gonna for the health. What's gonna happen if the chip malfunctions? I mean, because after all, it is technology.
Yeah.
But I mean, to answer your question, not to go too much deep into it, that's gonna be a situation where parents are gonna have to say yes or no individually.
Right. And so, like you said, it comes down to household. But do you think, like, when the time comes, I'm not saying, oh, sorry, let's not say when the time comes. Let's say if the time comes, because I'm not saying let's go for it. No, no, that's a terrible idea. But if the time comes, do you think do you think like sports and stuff like that, will they allow athletes to do it with or without it, or do you think it's gonna be something that the athlete has to decide whether or not they want to do sports, if they can or can't proceed with this chip thing.
Well, I think that the chip thing is probably for CIF to discuss with parents,
Yeah.
and that's going to have to be a single discussion with each parent, and that's going to have to be with for the school. And to be truly honest with you, that's going to have to be a conversation. To be truly honest, we're not ready for right now.
Yeah.
We're not ready for that conversation now
Yeah.
because of all the stuff is going on right now. You got looting, you got rioting, you got people who are believing certain things, and you got people saying I don't want to get the chip because it makes me believe other things or so on. But to answer your question, does CIF allow kids to perform with or without it? I mean, that's gonna have to be a situation to where it's again. I mean, it's got to be discussed with parents, medical experts, and I think that what they're gonna end up ruling is if not everyone agrees to it, we're probably not gonna do it.
Right.
And I think that's what they're gonna go towards is if not everyone agrees to it, we're not gonna have it. But once again, I mean, we're gonna end up doing it to where each parent is discussing it with their kid, and their kid what the medical doctors, and then the medical doctors are gonna tell them, hey, you know what, I think we should do this. Why not? But I mean, discussing that, to be truly honest with you, that's something that's gonna have to be with parents and CIF. But I don't see it going to that point yet. To be honest with you, though,
Yeah. Me
I
neither.
really don't think it's gonna be.
Me neither. It was a theory I had because I recently heard about it. I'm like, wait a minute, they're gonna start doing this to people. I mean, I think it's just way ahead of its time. It's way ahead of
Yeah.
its time. It's like I don't think it's necessary. Sure, I'd like to have it where I know what my health is, but I wouldn't want that. I don't want no metal inside of me determining what's going on. 'Cause like you said, it can malfunction and then it can give the wrong diagnosis. And I'm like, nah,
Right.
I don't want to be going through that nonsense.
No. Yeah. Yeah. No. I agree. I agree with you. That's gonna have to be a medical expert call, and I don't think we are ready for that yet.
Right.
I don't think so at all.
So, like you said, because everything that's going on, the world's hectic these days in the world of sports. I mean, like you said, there's rioting, there's there's looting and stuff like that, and like we said before, like we talked about in the last episode, we're talking about player, performance and stuff like that, player, or how they do things, Who- So where does it stand right now? Like for athletes, that we're going to those riots, or they're going to those doing those looting stuff like that. Do you think that their coaches probably found out about it, or do you think that their coaches are like, hey,
Well, here's what I believe. I'm not gonna speak for any other coach. This is what I believe. I believe that a player is allowed to have his First Amendment right, which is freedom of speech and freedom of religion. So, but that does not mean that freedom of speech does not come with a consequence. You
right,
can say what you want, but it does not mean it's right. So, with that being said, you can go out and protest for or against police brutality. I agree with the kids. I agree with the protesters. We should do something about police brutality, but that should be at an individual case. It should not be across the board, because not all cops are bad. Um, but to answer your question, when it comes to student athlete, is you cannot put yourself in harm's way,
right,
because when there's a crowd and something happens, you're going to be guilty by association. And unfortunately, who's going to vouch for you when you're in a crowd of 200 and a riot breaks out and
right,
you're in the middle of it?
yeah,
Now you just put yourself in harm's way, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
But to answer your question, if a young man wants to hold a sign at a street corner and they have a face mask on and they're practicing social distancing and they're saying, fight against police brutality, whatever they want to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. That's your that's your right. That's your right. But whatever you're saying,
mhm,
you need to understand that it comes with a consequence.
right,
Freedom of speech, is freedom of speech, but you have to be sensitive. Unfortunately, the time we not unfortunate, but the time we live in right now is
hmm,
tensions are high.
yeah,
So if you say something and you say it out of context, or you don't say it correctly,
hmm,
it's gonna be thrown out of context, right? So now you're gonna have a situation to where you're gonna have to explain yourself, over and over and over again, to
right,
say, look, that's not what I meant. This is really what I meant. And now you're gonna get a situation to where it's, well, did this kid really mean to say this or whatnot? But I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, and I think I already have. But
right,
if a young man wants to go out and protest correctly,
hmm,
properly,
yeah,
sure. Don't get involved in rioting, don't get involved in looting, because that's not the answer.
right, right, yeah, because it's bad for when you, because the last thing I want is for a coach to see me rioting or looting a store, and then I then get a message from him and be like, hey, what are you doing this for? Like, that's the last thing I want
Right,
my messages to be like, because like they said, a coach is always watching. You know what I'm saying? And if they
right.
see if they see you on TV doing this nonsense, they're gonna just take a moment to talk to themselves about it. They're like, isn't that my athlete right there doing this thing? With thousands of people watching, on the TV.
Yeah.
You know,
And you know what? I mean, you bring a good point. Coach is always watching. And not just only that, is you have everyone nowadays have a camera phone, and everybody wants to be their own type of reporter, right? They want
yeah,
to have they want to record a video and they want to share it on social media. This person did this person did that. But when that time comes and you're protesting, they have to understand that you're not only representing yourself, you're not
Right.
only representing the cause that you're fighting for, but you're also representing the team that you're on.
Right.
I don't have a problem if a young man wants to kneel for the flag. Hey, that's your choice.
Right.
That's your choice. If whatever you feel, whatever your parents and you talked about, that's what that's okay. But understand that rioting and looting is not the answer, because you're not only causing harm for your community,
Right.
you also impacted the lives of somebody else.
Right.
So that's not the answer for it. Looting and rioting not the answer for it. And to be truly honest with you, Miguel, at that point in time, when a peace officer finds you rioting and looting,
Hmm.
um, there is no justification to say, the police officer practice, he could have done things differently, because honestly, he's got emotions.
Yeah.
He's supposed to conduct himself a certain way, but when you got 200 people running around, burning out a building, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Tell you, hey, come down, let's talk about this? No, I mean, things change, right?
Yeah. Things change.
So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like
So,
I
I mean,
said,
go
you
ahead.
know. Oh yeah. So like I said, I mean, it's like how you just said, it's not the answer. It's like rioting and looting is not the answer for yeah, like even young athletes, because I mean,
Right,
I'm not gonna get into much of it, but a lot of I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm not. I'm gonna say pretty sure because that's wrong. I'm just gonna say I didn't watch the whole rioting thing. I didn't watch the whole looting thing because, first of all, that's not my thing. That's not my place. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna steer away from that because I don't want people. Because I mean, I'm not with that. I'm not with the rioting and looting and stuff like that. But when I say, like you said, when they put their lives in danger, I mean, let's be honest. I think more people suffered fatality in those riots than they have before, and with the George Floyd thing. I mean, I think more sacrifices were made during those things than there's ever been.
right, right. What's going to happen is you're not affecting. Once again, we'll go back to that. You're not affecting yourself. You just now affected communities around it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And
Exactly.
I believe a lot of the people that wanted justice for George Floyd were the peaceful protesters. And when you got to looting, is because some of the people had their own agenda. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into the politics of it, but I can only speak on the football side of it.
Yeah.
And if a young man feels that the need to express himself, to protest, and hey, you know, more power to you. I mean, people fought and died in wars to give you that right.
Right. Exactly. I agree. And since George Floyd, death has occurred, all around, the world of football has changed too. Either it's equality and stuff like that, and most recently, Washington stops getting funds for having the name Redskins on it. I mean, for 100 years, but then
Right.
people, it's for a long time. People did not like the name that Washington was possessing on with that name. So now that they have to finally change it, what do you have to say about that? For teams that have mascots that may be offended, do you think that it was a good idea for the Redskins to change their name, or do you think that they should have kept it?
Well, to be called a Redskin, I'm not Native American, so but to be called a Redskin, I think to put myself in their shoes. Let's say, example, a team had a name called the Brownskins.
Yeah.
I would find it kind of weird. You know what I mean? Oh, that's kind of weird. That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
But if they really wanted to keep, the Native American side to it, well, first I'm gonna answer your question. I think that the name Redskin made it sound cool. It might sound, oh, that's pretty cool, Cowboys and Redskins, going. But that right there tells you that it kind of has a demeaning meaning to it because when you have Cowboys and Redskins and they're big rivals, what does that tell you? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That kind of falls into a notion to where that kind of puts them into perspective to where maybe the name should change because just the name that name itself, when you bring it into a sentence that way, it does sound kind of strange. So if the Washington football team wanted to keep that logo but modify it somehow, they should maybe get some pointers from the Florida State Seminoles, to get with the tribe to figure out, hey, you know what, can we use your tribe's name, not for demeaning ways, but to bring knowledge and to bring understanding of what you guys went through. And I can't think of too many tribes saying no to that.
No.
I mean, you've got a football team in the college world called the William and Mary Tribe.
Yeah.
They're not called anything else. They're called the William and Mary Tribe. So what'll be the problem with having a Washington tribe?
Right.
Maybe something like that. But that's something that they had to discuss with the American community. And that's something that they have to come in agreement to. But to answer that question, yeah, I think that name has run its course and it's changed. But I'm also bringing other flips into it. When does it stop? When does it stop? When does it stop? When you're gonna have other teams change their name also because it might seem somewhat sensitive. And honestly, is it gonna bring a change automatically? Because when teams make a name change, sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes a year,
Right.
it sometimes takes a while for it to happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that I think that name has run its course.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, like you said, it's run its course, and like you said, maybe they could have kept, the things. They could have modified the logo a little bit, like you said. But I was thinking like the same thing, like you said. There's also a college scene called Tribe. So also
Right.
I don't know if you remember, but you remember Sherman Indian, right?
Yes, I do.
And
I do.
after some research, I found out, they're part of, Native American culture. So, why not go with the Braves, the Washington Braves. I know there's already a team called the
Right.
Braves, but, why not, right? I mean, keep, keep everything, change the logo color.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I mean, that's a good point. So right now they got a team in baseball called the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
So changing to something like Braves, sure, but now I think the biggest factor that they're having a situation to, Miguel, is the logo.
Right.
The logo might be it might be offensive to people. So now that's something that Washington needs to sit down with the tribe community, and not just from one tribe, from many tribes, to come to understand and say, hey, you know what, is this offensive to you guys, or maybe even just in their area. But that's something that I really can't speak of because I'm not Native American.
Right.
I haven't had their struggles. So that's something that they're gonna have to discuss among themselves. But I think after the name change, they have to be careful on the logo that they choose.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, last week, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, they came up with a rebrand, but not a lot of people are happy about it because that. Do you think that takes away from their fans? Do you think, now that you don't have a team, official name, just called yourself the Washington football team, do you think that's something, fans, it takes away from the fans?
Yeah, I think that a lot of fans from the Washington, Redskins, what they were before,
Mhm.
um, were not racist. They weren't racist at all. They just looked at it as a logo,
Yeah.
um, and they looked at the Native American logo on the side of the helmet as a warrior.
Yeah.
They looked at it as a Native American warrior. It was nothing soft about that logo. So I think that a lot of fans from the Washington Redskins looked at it as a symbol of strength. Native Americans, they were strong. They fought for the land they loved. Um, they still love. So I think you have a lot of people on both sides, Miguel, saying some people say, you know what, we like the logo. We didn't think much of it. We didn't think it was racist. You have other people that say, that's pretty darn racist.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the only people that should have that say so is the community of Native Americans. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
because honestly, I was born in Mexico.
Yeah.
So how am I gonna be judgmental on a Native American, and especially in something that I don't have any experience with? What my ancestors went to. Even I mean, that's a sensitive topic. But a lot of the fans that I know
Mhm.
that I've spoken to did not look at it as a racist symbol. They looked at the Washington Redskin logo as a sign of strength and of a warrior.
Yeah. So now that you don't have like either a logo nor like a team mascot, like how does that affect fans around like for that team? Like now that you don't have like a logo or like a mascot, how does that affect Washington fans right now? Like now you just call Washington Red.
You know what?
Now you call them just Washington fans. That's all you
Yeah.
have them. So how does that affect fans around the world just to call their team the Washingtons?
Well, you know what? I think you will still have fans, and I think you're also going to have a lot of people tuning out.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a lot of fans not follow that team anymore because they've been following that team for 40 years, 20 years. So I mean, it's just you know, it's a shame that you will lose a team over a name. It's I think that you're gonna have a lot of fans that are not gonna tune in football anymore. To be truly honest with you, I don't think football or sports should be political at all
Right.
because that's when people tune out of life for 2.5 hours and they get to watch a sport that they grew up loving
Mhm.
and they love so that they can forget about the problems of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think by having this topic and this conversation with the pro athletes, it just brings us back to full circle of what's been going on in the world with the looting and the rioting. So now you can't get away from it anymore. It's in the sports world.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you're gonna have a lot of fans tune out of football.
Right. I agree. Yeah, because obviously, I think I mean, for example, here we go. Here we go. Let's say this. You have let's say Riverside Prep Silver Knights, right? A lot of people, I don't even know, from
Sure.
families that, let's say, from dark ages. You have families from the dark ages. I mean, because everybody has family from the dark ages. They're like, hey, my family was in the dark ages. I don't like the name Silver Knights. Change it. So what do you do? Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Well,
I understand it to the standpoint where people are like, hey, we're Native Americans were here before, but at the same time, I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Native Americans. They're the greatest people on earth. But like I said, when you talk about name changes, I understand it. The name was wrong, but you don't have to completely just change everything about it. Maybe change the logo a little bit to where it's more respectable. Maybe change the name. That's it. But I wouldn't just say completely get rid of the whole Native American culture thing. You can still honor the Native American culture, but just something better.
yeah. Well, and to answer the question about the Silver Knights, I don't think that's gonna offend anyone. And if it does, then you should have a reality check, right?
Yeah.
Because having anything about Silver Knights, I mean, that's not really offensive. It shouldn't be offensive to anyone, but the name Redskin,
Yeah.
that's something that the United States soldiers back in those days, we're talking about maybe the Battle of Little Bighorn or so on,
Yeah.
would call Native Americans savages or redskins and whatnot, regardless of what side you were on, they were on whatnot. I mean, that's a certain time and date. I wasn't around it, obviously,
Yeah.
but I think that the name itself, redskin, that would bring that's pretty offensive to some people.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with getting rid of the whole Native American symbolism. I think that, like I said before, you get with some colleges who successfully have like the Seminole tribe be represented by Florida State.
Yeah.
I think that's how you come about it. You know what I mean? There is. I remember. I think it's North Dakota State. They used to be called the Fighting Sioux.
Really?
Now they're just called the North Dakota. Yeah, they used to call the Fighting Sioux. But what happened is some people found it offensive, so they dropped the fighting, and now they're just the North Dakota State Sioux. But see, I mean, things like that can get kind of mixy, and tricky, or so on and so forth. I mean, I didn't find anything offensive about the Fighting Sioux, nothing. But then again, I'm not Native American,
Yeah.
so I can't comment on it. So, like I said before, I mean, they need to get together with some of the college teams that actually have been successful of representing Native Americans, and just get together with Native American tribes and figure out, hey, what, is this offensive to you? Can we keep the tribal portion of it? How do we alter the decals to not to be so offensive to people? The name, what do we do about the name? How do we change it, or so on? That's something that Mr. Snyder's going to have to discuss with the tribes, and that's something that's a seat that I don't want to be in, to be truly honest with you.
Yeah, me neither. So do you think it was a great idea for Mr. Snyder just to go with Washington football team just for this year only? Because that's truly what their name is right now. Where we stand at, they just call themselves the Washington football team. That's it, nothing else. Do you think it was a good idea?
Yeah, see,
Just to,
that's well, man, see, that's
doesn't sit right,
see
huh?
because no, it doesn't sit right because let's be truly honest. The only reason why he changed it to the Washington football is because FedEx pulled the money out of that stadium.
Really?
So well, I'm just talking from the articles that I've read, and I don't know what I forgot the articles but I was reading articles and certain news feeds and whatnot, that it wasn't until the FedEx and the corporations put pressure on Mr. Snyder to say, hey, this is what needs to happen,
Hmm.
or maybe he just had a change of heart. I don't know. I wasn't in the office when that conversation came through, but do I think that he should have changed it to the Washington football team? No. I think you should give them a certain a name till you change it. But the colors are going to remain the same.
Yeah.
They're still going to be gold and red or whatnot. I mean, I just don't think maybe the Washington Reds or whatever you want to call them, but not Redskins, just Reds, kind of
Yeah.
like, it's something, right? But
Yeah.
not give them a nickname for now, but not just the Washington football team, because you're going to lose fans.
Yeah.
You may gain fans, you're going to lose fans.
Yeah, just think about it. Like, what happens when they score a touchdown? What are the reporters gonna say? Oh, touchdown, Washington football team. I mean, I don't think that sounds good in a sentence. I mean, sure, it sounds good as a word,
Well,
but its own sentence. But not when
right.
you put touchdown, Washington football team. No, I think that's just too long.
Well, what I don't agree with is, and I'm not trying to get too political here, but Washington Redskins, the name itself was pretty offensive to people.
Yeah.
But we are in an era right now where the cancel culture is high and is crazy.
Yeah,
Whatever you don't like, they want to change it.
yeah,
So not everything that you say right now it's offensive. Not every statue that you see around life is offensive. It gets to a point to where it's you got to be honest with yourself. I mean, if it's a football team playing, most of the time, if it's go a touchdown, just say touchdown Washington, and
right.
that's it. Touchdown Washington. And I don't think there should be a name attached to it right now if they can't find one or whatever they want to do with it. But you know, like I said before, we have some time for the football season to start, and that's something Mr. Snyder's gonna have to discuss and talk about with everyone around him to discuss what the logo should be, what the name should be. But if you're asking me, should he have changed to the Washington football team? No, I just think he should just kept it Washington
Yeah,
and then deal with the rest later.
yeah. Just something, just for now, just to get the
Right,
back that extra revenue.
right, exactly.
Do you
Well,
know
I
if
mean,
FedEx started supporting them again, or is FedEx still not, in support with them?
you know what? I don't know because to be truly honest with you, I try not to get involved with politics that, well, at least on that side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because what happens is, I mean, it's just, well, to answer your question, no, I don't know. I don't know if there have or have not. I haven't read up on it. I haven't heard anything from it. And to be truly honest with you, uh, there's a lot going on in life right now to me worried about a name change. To be truly honest with you.
yeah, yeah. I agree. You know, because like let's be honest, it was really catchy name, but then again, when people look at it from Native American standpoint, of course it's gonna sound offensive because red skin is that's pretty
Right.
that's pretty bold out there, and I mean, because I thought it was just a nickname at first. I didn't know that they called them the Redskins before, and then when you told me about it, I'm like, oh dang,
Yeah.
okay, there it goes. There. I thought it was just something
Right.
so they
Yeah.
didn't use something like Indian or like I don't know, something along the lines
No.
of that.
No. It was definitely used as a derogatory term because if you look at the history books, the Native American culture or whatnot. So the way that it was talked to me by a Native American, um, and I know a few of them that told me about it is if you look at certain cultures, their skin is copper skin, right? Some of them are copper skin, some are olive skin, kind of like we all have now, right?
Yeah,
Um, but if someone you know says, hey, you know what, his skin is not my skin, so his skin's red skin. Oh, look at that red skin over there. That becomes offensive,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
That's hugely offensive, Miguel. So I mean, that's not. So now you're calling somebody out their name. In other words, you know what I mean,
yeah,
opposed to calling someone, look at that person from that Seminole tribe, because that's who they were. It was a tribe. We're calling that person, about their tribe name, Standing Rock or whatever it was. They called them, hey, look at that redskin. Just like the same way that the Native Americans had names for, the white soldiers, whatnot. I mean, I don't know what that name was, or what they called them, but no, I don't want to get into that conversation. But yeah, it was pretty offensive.
it's crazy. So I guess only time will tell what happens with the name change, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of how I would like to see it play out, right? Let time let time take us there, and it's I hope this doesn't create a snowball effect to names that are not offensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or maybe to me, but I mean, or whatever the case may be, right? But yeah, I just think that aside from the name Redskin, I just think that the cancel culture right now is huge.
yeah,
It's a big movement,
yeah,
and we gotta control it before it gets out of control.
yeah. There's already
That's
there's
just the
a
way I feel.
there's already too much in the 2020 dumpster that we don't need to add to. It's already overflowing. There's
Hmm.
there's too many things that
Right.
are there's too many things inside the 2025, and it's gonna.
Right.
I don't, and it's only half the year. We're not even towards the end of the year, and it's already overflowing. There,
I know, right?
there's
Could you? I mean, it's just not. Yeah.
we should just all like just not more, just stay at home and just watch Netflix.
Oh wow. I know, man.
Because I know you be watch. I know you're watching Netflix, right?
When it was, yeah. I mean, be honest. I mean, I'm not a big outdoors guy.
Yeah,
Being told to stay home, being told what to do, being told to do certain things, it kind of bothers me a little bit to be honest with you, because it was my right, my free will to go back and forth how I want to. But hey, I got rules.
yeah.
There's a pandemic going, so I have to protect others by following the rules. So that's what I'll do.
That's perfect. Yeah, I mean that's what I do too. I'm over here watching Hulu, Netflix, trying to watch TV shows from back in my teenage years.
Going on?
It's crazy. I'm
I
telling you,
got lost. Yeah.
it's crazy because when you're, I'm just watching. I'm going down memory lane and watching shows I haven't seen on TV for the past like 5, 6
Oh my
years.
gosh. Yes.
When you see those TV shows, you're like, no, I gotta watch it. I've gotta watch the whole series. There's no other way.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I mean, definitely a lot of people have gotten to a lot of TV time, right?
Yeah,
And that's something. To be truly honest with you, I was never a TV person. I'm still not a TV person. I'd rather pick up a good book and read it. And that's kind of what I do now. Because I don't want to start that trend for me, to be a TV person. So I just think that, you know, I hope this pandemic is over soon, so we
yeah,
can get back to somewhat of our normal life, right?
yeah. At least some. I mean, of course, social distancing for at least 5 more years or so, just to make sure that it's good.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Even then, Miguel, when you say 5 years, I have a problem with that. I'm thinking to myself, "What? Another 5 years of this,
Yeah.
man?" But
Well,
what's I mean? I have to go medical experts say whatever the medical experts say.
as long as they feel that it's needed, then hey, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so whatever they come up with or whatever they say, I have to follow the rules. And I go back to full circle of I'm trying to protect the student athlete. So I'll do my part.
Right.
They'll do their part, and so we can get back to normal.
Right. All right then. So I mean, I know that you want to probably get inside your house because you had a long day at work. So let's end this podcast with some fun. Let's get some fun up
All
in here.
right.
So okay. So I got the Silver Knight schedule, the preseason. Well, not it's not an official schedule because you never know. You can
Okay.
change the games whenever you can. But I got the official preseason schedule. Well, for regular season, if that makes sense, because it's not really
Sure.
season yet. So I'm gonna tell you the games you guys are playing, and then you tell me how you feel about it. And
Oh
you,
wow, you gotta put me in that spot right now.
yes, yes, we are. We're gonna have a little fun with it. You tell me.
Oh wow, goodness gracious. Okay. Okay.
You can rate it with percentage. You don't have to say we'll lose or we'll win. You can. No, I
Okay.
don't want to. I want to give you good positive vibes, but I want your honest thoughts about it. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. So the first game is a home
I'm
game.
ready. I'm ready as I'm gonna be. Yes.
All right. So the first game
Okay.
is a home game, right? And you guys are playing East Side. The East Side, what is it? Lions? Yeah, East Side Lions. How about that
Yeah.
one? Have you guys played them before?
Yeah, you know what? East Side Lions, we actually scrimmaged them on a three-way scrimmage when it was when we scrimmaged Little Rock, East Side, and Vasquez,
Right.
forward scrimmage, if you will. So yeah, I mean, I think our East Side has, I believe, I think they might have a new coach this year. I'm
Right.
not too certain of it, but I think that East Side is loaded, man. They got talent. So I think, we got a good percentage for us to come out of the victory. It's a home game. It's an opening game for us.
Yeah.
I think emotions will be high. So I think I feel confident about that one.
Confident about that one. High 70s, maybe 80s.
Yeah, I'll give you 70s.
Awesome. I like that. I like that. All right, the next game, it's another home game, and we got Capistrano Valley Christian.
Okay. See, that one's tough because if you look at our schedule last year,
Yeah.
Capistrano Valley Christian really put it on us.
Oh yeah.
They really put it on us. And that one is going to be a game where our boys want to play and play hard.
Yeah.
So that one's going to be 50-50, to be honest with you, because that one's going to be determined on, not just coaching, but on players um, on on the football field. So that's going to be 50-50, Miguel.
Yeah, because I was really expecting you guys to beat them because I don't know, but I
Well,
had
you know,
yeah, I had a feeling you guys were gonna beat those guys for some good reason. I was like, you know what, Riverside Prep's got this, and then I see it, and then I'm like, okay, I don't even know how you guys lost to them. I don't really feel like
I'll tell you how we lost. I'll tell you how we lost. We got they were very physical, and we lost in the trenches. That's what we lost, to be honest with you.
jeez, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. The math doesn't add up.
Yeah,
You look at back,
yeah, but
they're struggling, and then they like give it to you guys good. I'm like, if you guys should have lost closely, not that much. I'm like, you know what, I was fine with it losing, but when I saw the score like that, I was like, no, that's too much of a score to lose by.
yeah, that was a tough game for us, man. That really was. That really was.
That was like you guys should have woken up in that game for somehow. I don't even know if you guys were half asleep or you guys were half awake or Capistrano
So we'll
had
chalk that
steroids.
one up. We'll chalk that one up 50-50.
50-50. Okay, I like it. I like that. It's still good. All right, the next game. You guys got 3 home games in a row just to start the season, basically. So you guys have a good start here. You guys are defending home ground here. The next one is Boron, the Boron Bobcats.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, I know someone from Boron, and they're pretty good. So I don't know.
Yes.
They're like Vasquez 2.0.
Well, Boron is if I'm not mistaken, they're in a higher division than we are in.
Yeah.
So Boron, to be truly honest with you, they have their ups and downs, and they do really well with what they have.
Right.
In the last couple of years, they've been pretty well. I mean, they've been pretty good. So, I'm gonna keep it honest with this one here. I think that's gonna be a real tough game for us.
Right.
To be truly honest with you, I don't want to say it's a loss or a win or give it percentage wise, but that's gonna be a tough game. On to this game, please.
On to the next game, please. Yes. Okay. The next one. I hate. I don't. I hate. Well, I love their students and their coaches, but their football team is just always destroying us and obliterating every time we play them. So I hate them. I hate their football team with a passion, but I love them at the same time. The Web School.
Okay.
Woohoo! The Web School.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what?
I don't,
I think we have a good chance on that one.
yeah, I
That's
agree.
gonna be a high choice. Yes, yes. That's gonna be. That one. I'm pretty confident in that one there.
Yeah, like I'm
I
like.
give you. Yeah.
Okay, wait. What did you say? You were gonna give me what?
I'll give you 80% on that one.
I like it. That's okay. That one is a great one because I want them to finally lose to a team I like. Well, I can't say Excelsior anymore because we're pretty much gone for now.
Right.
Hopefully, if we can bring it back, who knows? But yes, I have a feeling that this game, you guys better bring it to it hard for me. Bring it to
Yeah.
it hard because I don't know, they always beat us by a lot, and I'm like, well, I don't understand physics, but I guess that happens. But I'm rooting for you guys on
Right.
that one. I'm rooting for you guys.
Well,
on
we
that
appreciate it. We
I
appreciate
can't-
your support.
I can't wait for it. Okay, well, okay, and that one's at the Webb School. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it was home game. It's at the Webb
Yeah,
Schools.
yeah, that's that web. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the next game we have is another away game. Ooh, coach, are you sure you're ready for this one? You're going to the mount.
Yeah.
You're going to the mountains for this one. You're going to Arrowhead Christian. You guys are heading
Well,
to
you know what?
Arrowhead
I
Christian.
think Arrowhead Christian is located. I think in Redlands area. I think.
Really? I thought they were.
Yeah.
I thought they were somewhere
No,
in the
they're not.
mountains.
No, they're not. They're not. No, I think when I was coaching at Excelsior, we played Arrowhead Christian, and I want to say they were around Redlands area. They're tough, man. They are tough. They are a good team.
Okay,
They're
but
a small school, but they're pretty tough.
I do have a question.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't wanna embarrass you like this or anything like that. But how
sure.
on earth does varsity lose when JV beats them? I'm so confused. I'm like so head bobbling
Okay.
about it.
So what would happen? So you're talking about Excelsior, right?
Yes, I'm talking about
Okay.
Excelsior.
So what happens with any other varsity team or any JV team, whatever best players you have, they move to varsity, and JV are the players that you want to groom for the next level at one point in time.
Yeah.
So that's how you lose a game because Eric Christian, their best players were on varsity.
Wow.
So I'm not saying that our best players were on JV, but you know, we just got outplayed that game.
It,
We got outplayed that game. I mean, we couldn't do much in that team. I mean, our kids looked at their squad and said, "We got this." You know, they're few in numbers, but that doesn't say much. That don't speak much. And yeah, I mean, it's just that was a tough game, man. So that one there, I mean, I really can't give you an answer in because I don't know. Wow, I haven't even watched film on them. I haven't done anything, so I really can't tell you an answer on that. To be honest with you,
so you're gonna say what we're gonna say just 50-50 for now?
50-50. Yep.
I like it. Yeah, cause I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Like our JV that year, I don't know. I was gonna say we have D plus offense, defense, and special teams. I'm gonna say that to be brutally honest with you because we had good we had a good squad, but
Right.
it was just constantly changing. So I say we had a D
Yeah.
plus in all orders, but you guys had at least a B plus on varsity. But
Yeah.
then
It was
again,
tough.
it was confusing to me at first. I'm like, no, we can't be losing like this. I was so confused. I was like, why and how? But
Right.
yes. All right. Well, I haven't heard of this team, so you got to tell me what their mascot is and how they are. But it's a next. So you guys were originally supposed to play them in the start of October, but the team that's coming to play you guys is Santa Monica.
Okay. Santa Monica.
Yeah.
That one, you know what? That's new to us, and I don't know anything about that team. I don't even know what division they're in, to be honest with you, and that's no disrespect to them.
Yep.
But I can't even comment on that team, to be honest with you, because that's a lot of these teams that you're mentioning. Eric Christian, I'm familiar with. Webb, we played him last year.
Yeah.
Capistrano Valley, we played them last year, but Santa Monica, that's new to us, so we don't even know.
Oh wait, sorry, my bad.
I don't even know.
I got it wrong. I got it wrong. My bad. I take that back. That's not Santa Monica. It's Saint Monica.
Saint Monica, okay. Saint Monica is a private school, so you know how private schools goes.
Yeah.
Either they're loaded or they're not. So that one is gonna have to be a 50-50, and we're gonna decide when the game starts.
Yeah, because private schools, I don't even understand them. They're like, hey, we're good. We're a good team. Come play
Yeah,
us. And then you
yeah,
go to them and then you beat
exactly,
them. But then next year they're all so good. I'm like, I don't even know.
exactly.
They're always changing. Their scale is always changing every year. So I can't tell you if we're gonna get the bad side of Saint Monica or you're gonna get the good side of Saint Monica. So
Right,
I agree with you
right,
on the
right,
50-50 because they're always changing.
right.
All right, the next school. It's one of our favorites. I love their AD so much. He's cool. He's awesome. Silver Valley.
Yeah, we played them last year at Silver Valley. We won. That was a tough game. Um, We're gonna have to defend our turf this year,
Yeah.
um, and that's I think. I mean, I would like to tell you, the positive whatnot, but every league game that we're gonna play, to be truly honest, with you, every game we played, I have to give it a 50-50 right now because I really don't know. I mean, I don't even know what we have in our roster. To be truly honest, since this whole COVID-19 happened,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can't imagine what they have in their roster. I mean, but I can tell you right now that everybody has an equal playing field because we just don't know.
Yep. Exactly. I'm not. To be honest with you, I'm gonna say you guys have 60% chance. 60 because
Okay, well,
since they're really good every year. They never change. They're awesome. Their squad is
they're
hard,
yeah they're pretty good.
but they're
They really
talented.
are.
They're really talented. I like them. All right, it's your favorite team next.
Gee whiz, we're
It's
going
your
to Big Bear.
Yep, you're going to Big Bear next week after that. It's your favorite
Yeah.
team.
See, and that's gonna be a tough game because since our season starts in January,
Yeah.
we're gonna play Big Bear at Big Bear in the freezing cold. So we're
Probably
gonna be
during the
in their
snow too.
elements. Yeah,
Probably during the snow too.
it may be a snow game for us. We don't know, but man, that game. I mean, last year, man, we lost I think by 3. So I mean, I think we're gonna pick up where we left off. Both teams are, and that's gonna be a slugfest. To be truly honest with you, I mean, like I said before, a league game, every game is 50-50. To be truly honest with you, that game is gonna be fun to watch. So that's all I know.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, because you guys have unfinished business with Big Bear.
Hmm.
You're like,
That's the truth.
you're like, we're winning last time, but you came and took the win from us. But this time, it's not gonna be so fun for you guys.
Well, and you know what? They also have a new coach. Their football coach resigned. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see if there's a new Big Bear or they're gonna keep on, running the same offense. So we'll see what happens.
Let's see how that goes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is okay. I think this is wrong. I think you guys need to fix it because you guys are playing Big Bear 2 times, but I don't believe that's gonna happen because I've seen that
No,
happen.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because it says Big Bear 2 times. All right.
No,
but,
yeah.
All right, but we have 2 new schools in the mix, and that's always fun when you have new schools in the league. So after Big Bear, I don't even know if that's gonna be the week before or the week after, but the week before or after, you guys are playing Vasquez.
Yes. Vasquez, man, you know the one thing that I can say about that football coach of Vasquez is the team is always physical
Yeah.
and they never stop. They never stop. They keep on competing till 4 quarters. That one is they play angry. They play physical. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, Miguel. To be truly honest with you, that team is. I mean, but then again, I haven't seen them since the scrimmage. And the scrimmage, to be truly honest with you, everything's so vanilla. So I'm gonna have to see, a couple of their games on film, and to see how they are. But one thing I do know is that they're physical.
Yeah.
So I think that if we match their physicality, we're gonna have a chance.
Right.
We're gonna have a chance.
I agree. So I do have a question for you because
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was. Don't call me wrong. Don't call me out for it. But because I mean, I am confused. But then I'm so proud of us for at the same time. Because when you were with us, we beat them when we came to our house. But what on earth happened in Vasquez? Why did we lose by that many points and not score at all? Like, I'm not gonna say
Vasquez.
Yeah.
At Vasquez.
Yeah. Why did we? How did we lose?
I can
that
tell
much?
you right now. That first year that I was there, playing at Vasquez, we weren't 100%. Because that was not a league game for us. That year we were independent, if you will.
Yeah.
So we were still gelling. And that year that you're talking about, I don't mean to call out no players, but we had quite a few players that were me players. A lot of guys that were used to the old ways of doing things. Baskets was good that year too, man. I mean, they were just physical. Like I said before, baskets has always been physical. But I mean, to make no excuse of it, they came out, they punched us in the mouth, right,
Yeah,
and that was the end of it.
that was the end of it. It's like, the most unsettling thing about that is, you want to know the most unsettling thing about that game?
Sure.
Varsity and JV had the same score. We didn't score at all in them. You guys didn't score at all in them. It's like,
No.
what? It was so weird. I was like, wait, what? Because I left
Yeah.
because I had to leave, like, because we had to go somewhere. I don't know what we were doing, but I know we had to take care of business in Vegas, but we couldn't stay for the varsity game. And I really wanted to watch you guys because I didn't.
Yeah.
I hated getting embarrassed like that. I was like, you know what? I want to stay and watch JV. I mean, not sorry. I want to watch varsity.
Varsity.
Smack someone in the mouth for us. So I couldn't. I tried my best to stay, but I couldn't. And then I find out that
It was
happened.
tough.
I was like, no, how?
It was a tough game for us. All right, what's the next game? Let's get past that one. What's the next game?
The final game. Oof, I don't need. They're new too, but we played them before. Trinity Classical Academy. Like, I have not heard these teams in such a long time, and they're finally coming back.
Trinity Classical did well last year. They did really well last year, and once again, they're a private school, so they're up and down. They're good or they're bad. So they're in our league. There was a league shift when Excelsior went out, when they lost the football program. So they welcomed these two teams in. And like I said before, that's going to be 50-50. Trinity Classic, they're good. Last year they were good.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see to what happens.
Yeah, because I know when we played them, because we had to go play them away, they didn't have a field yet, right? To my understanding,
No.
they didn't have a field yet.
We played them on a Saturday, if you recall. It was a Saturday. It was a day game because they couldn't have any lights because it's just, they played on someone else's stadium.
Yeah.
And I don't know if things have changed. I don't know if things remain the same, but that doesn't mean that the team's no good.
Yeah.
That just means that they want to play somewhere else. But yeah, we'll have to see for that team, see what happens.
I guess you say we were fortunate enough to beat them when they were on the bottom of the scale instead of the top of the scale. Because, like you said, a private school, it can always change. So we were fortunate enough to get the good side of the scale and not beat the most embarrassing game of our lives. Because truly, I was scared on the trip over there. I was like, oh no. Whenever they have classical names like that, they always like to play physical. So I'm like, please, just win. We need to go to the playoffs somehow. I'm like, I just want to go to the playoffs. Just win the game, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't need to do anything else. Just win, whatever it means. And you guys did it. You guys pulled it off. I'm like, yes, finally.
Right. But see, that's like, what, 4 years ago or so?
Yeah.
So things change in 4 years.
Yeah, but you're on a different team now, so.
True. Now we're gonna have to prove ourselves right.
Yep, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm still the same coach I was back with my other team, but don't count me out yet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a team effort and it's a coaching effort. So we'll see what happens on that game.
I think Coach Hendricks is gonna like that game. To be honest.
I think so. Well, you know what? I mean, I think Coach Hendricks is gonna like every game, but it's just more of a how well do we prepare our kids, especially this is going on now, right? So we got to make sure that we take one game at a time. Definitely, one game at a time.
I agree. Yeah, because one game at a time. That's perfect. Nothing else. You don't need to do anything else.
Right.
You just want to make sure that your guys are playing at the same level and being physical enough, to a point where you guys can win games.
Absolutely.
You guys don't want to show off too much though. Like that's the main thing. You never want to show off too much.
Well, no, and you know what, and that's why it's every football game you got to tease the next team, right? So, so we do what we can. We show what we want to, and we play with what we got.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we just got to take it from there. To be honest with you.
So with all the games I just told you about, do you think that the record's going to be great, or do you think it's going to be a bumpy record?
I think so. Well, honestly, truly honest, with you, I think everyone does. Well, nobody has an advantage with this whole pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they have going into locker room, if you will,
Right.
and everyone's kind of dependent on their own kids doing their own workouts. So it's a coin flip, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
We're gonna have to see
We
how
have
it
to wait and
plays out,
see.
and we have to wait for the updated schedule.
Yes,
See if anybody's gonna swap in or
right.
swap out. You know.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely right.
But yeah, man, that's the
Absolutely
end.
right.
That's the end of the schedule for you. I mean, I know it's awesome. I mean, I know it's sad, but you know,
Yeah.
there's not too many games yet. But you know, there might be more, but or maybe less. I don't know. But let's just be happy you guys still
Right.
have games
Right.
on. Let's be happy you guys still have games on this schedule. So
Yes. Exactly. No. Exactly right. Exactly right.
and I'm looking forward to watching you guys
Exactly right.
since like I don't have a high school football team to watch anymore because you know we're gone. So you know I'm
Well, come on down. Yeah.
so you know Riverside Prep.
I
Yeah,
think
let's
that's
go
gonna be.
Silver Knights.
Well, we appreciate it. I'll tell you that much.
Don't worry, I wouldn't go to any other
Really do.
school. You know, yeah, because I mean, you know me well because you're the coach. So any team you go to, I'm gonna support it, of course, because you know.
Right.
And I'm gonna be like, oh, your school
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
sucks. But yeah, you know, I'm always there for you, man. And I'm hoping to see you
Yeah, we
guys.
don't want that.
And I'm hoping, you know, now that I come on board with you guys, I'm hoping you guys go to CIF this year so I can finally go to a CIF game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we believe me, we love to go CIF too.
Yeah.
We would love to.
Don't worry, you got all my support here.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You welcome.
We all do.
Hey, you know, you guys are always good, so you know you guys have gotten better over the years. So, you know, if you can't
Yeah.
beat them, support them. You know,
What? Right? Yeah.
you guys dismembered us like 2 times in a row. So I'm like, oh well. I mean, I guess. I mean, if they're that good now, it's time to support them.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's just the luck of the draw, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
And it's more of it's a team sport. It's team unity. You know how well your team gels, how you prepare your kids. So this year's a new year, like I said. Nobody has an advantage, so we're gonna see what happens.
But always make sure that your athletes are, you know, are always determined. You know, don't don't just like
Yeah.
let them be like, oh, because we have a pandemic, yo, you don't have to work out still. No, still work
Oh
out
no,
from
no,
home.
no, no. Yeah, exactly it.
You don't want
Exactly it.
because you don't want your athletes to be out of shape when the time to play it comes. It's like, no, that's not gonna help us win games.
No, it's not. And to be truly honest with you, at that point in time, that's between the parent and the student athlete and how well the student athlete wants, to be honest with
Yeah, it's
you.
true that.
That's unfortunate at their time. But once practice starts, if you come to work out of shape, you're going to be hurting for it. And I guarantee you that.
Yeah, we're gonna put them back in shape.
Not because we're punishing them, but right, exactly. Not because we're punishing them, but because we have that much time to get ready for it that we're going to have to, make sure the kids are ready for it. So if it's us pushing it a little bit harder than we're going to have to, then it's going to be get conditioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, everything right now is going to be a learning curve anyway because it's this whole COVID-19 thing. So
Right.
we're going to have to wait and see, Miguel. To be honest with you.
We do, and I can't wait.
Yep.
I can't wait to see what happens. You know, I want to see what this football year is gonna be like. You know, maybe live stream games. Finally, I can finally see live stream games for the first time, like those big schools have it.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So that way nobody misses a Riverside Prep
Never
game,
know.
You know.
You never know.
Let's see
Yep.
what CIF
That'd be
does
a first,
for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm truly excited that we finally have a football season after so much time. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I'm not mad that it's Moose. I'm just more anxious than mad, you know? Because I'm like, I want to see a football game.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's been a long time since I've seen a
No,
football
yeah, I
game.
get
So.
it. I get it. I understand. Believe me, we're all anxious to get this season started.
Hmm.
We're all anxious.
Yeah,
We really are.
truly. But, you know, you always know if you guys need any, like, volunteers or anything, I'm here for you guys.
Right. You're only a phone call away, right?
Yeah, I'm only one phone call away.
We appreciate that.
Respect, Coach Hendricks. I think his phone died. Coach, are you still there? Coach, are you still there? I don't know. I really do though. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But you know, you always know if you guys need any like volunteers or anything, I'm here for you guys. Alright guys, that looks like this is gonna be the end of the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We had Coach Incarnation here with us today. And that's truly it. So thank you guys for watching so much. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Okay, since we're good. So